What's up, comic book fans, and welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me, and today we got more Fall of the House of X. This time with X-Men, issue number 32. And what makes this issue so dope, which it absolutely is that it features the return of Illyana Rasputin, aka Magik, into this fight against Orchis. And I'm telling you guys now that her and Shadowcat just completely demolished in this issue. And if you guys need to get caught up with the Fall of the House of X, then I place a card at the top of the screen, as well as a link at the end of the video to the playlist. But if you guys are ready for an epic team up between these two female mutant warriors, then you know what time it is. Say it with me now. Let's get it. So we picked this issue up with the Lighthouse Keeper at the site of the mutant massacre. And as Orchis is entering the final phase of their plan, they realize that there's one loose end in the lighthouse. Because this old man knows the truth of what Orchis did on this island to the mutants. So Orchis sends in this guy to take out the old man. But one thing that this assassin didn't account for is that this old man isn't the only survivor. As Lockheed peeks his head up out of the shadows and then straight up torches this Orchis guy. And then as Lockheed stands over this charred body, we get Emma Frost with a telepathic message to all of the mutants. And she kind of recaps the events of the last Fall of the House of X and Invincible Iron Man issues here, which both are in the Fall of the House of X playlist, so make sure you check it out. But she lets all the mutants know about Polaris taking out the Orchis orbital weapons platform. And Iron Man and his Sentinel Buster armor drawing most of the Sentinels to the Australian outback. But she wants all the mutants to continue routing their needs through her telepathically, since it's likely that all of the other forms of communication have been compromised. And then we see Emma pull up on some Orchis soldiers arresting these mutants. And it's kind of funny how these Orchis guys are wondering where their Sentinel backup is, because they're likely getting their asses busted right now by Tony Stark. But when Emma pulls up on them, they realize that she's one of those telepathic X-Men, so it's a good thing that they've got side blockers. But Emma makes sure to correct them that she's the telepath. And then she uses those knuckle blasters that Tony gifted her with to straight up annihilate these dudes. Then she welcomes these mutants to the resistance. Man, y'all, I love those knuckle blasters. Those things are too dope. And I've said it a few times already, but I'm loving her paired up with Tony Stark. They make a really strong team to me. But then we transition to this Orchis facility as Emma telepathically acknowledges to the rest of the mutants that the once thought lost Magik has returned to the fight. Then Magik glides in on a power line and smashes her way into this facility and commences to whooping some Orchis ass. But Emma can tell that something isn't quite right with Magik, that she's slower and her breathing is labored, which is when Magik lets her know that Orchis has infected her with something and is blocking her teleportation. But she's here to fix it or die trying, as she continues to cut her way through this facility and everybody that gets into her way. But you can tell that this fight is taking a toll on her. So when she takes out one of these guards, she actually takes his gun and starts to use that thing over her trademark sword. Meanwhile, as Magik is noticeably exhausted, Emma insists that she wait for the backup that Emma called in before she continues. But Magik is a Krakoan war captain, so she insists that she'll keep going as penance. But Magik then finally finds her target as she walks in on this doctor that's burning evidence. And she tells him that she cut through a lot of guys to find him, as he tells her that she looks like one of his, because he was the project manager for the nanites currently coursing through her blood. And he's actually surprised that she's even still alive. And as she lets him know that those nanites are preventing her from using her gifts, he lets her know that they're replicating so much that they will kill her soon. But she wants them out ASAP. And after making a Taylor Swift reference, this guy then pulls out a gun on Magik and lets her know that he'll make it quick for her. But then Shadow Cat emerges, knocking away this guy's gun and notifying Magik that she had been listening in, and then she knocks out this doctor. But these two ladies both thought the other dead, so they're incredibly happy to see one another, and they have a nice little embrace. Then Shadow Cat tells Magik that she was hoping this scientist would have an antidote for her, but they'll just have to do this the hard way and cut through the rest of this gulag. And she offers Magik some time to rest, but Magik is a true warrior, and she refuses. If she's going out, then she's going out swinging her sword. And then these ladies rip through the hallway like Darth Vader in Rogue One. Then Magik tells Kitty that she looked everywhere for survivors, but Kitty tells her that she didn't look in the Morlock tunnels, which is where they had been hiding out. But all of this has just taken so much out of Magik, and now she absolutely has to sit down for a second. Then Magik tells Kitty that she's very glad that Emma sent her. But Shadow Cat lets her know that she had already been there. She'd already infiltrated this gulag to free the mutant prisoners when Magik crashed her party. So now Magik is wondering that if Kitty isn't the one that Emma sent, then who's coming? A doctor, Kitty replies, as the ceiling of this place begins to crackle and crunch as it lifts straight up, revealing Polaris, who then flies down, still with that cup of coffee that she had in issue 2 of The Fall of the House of X when she had took out that Orchid station. But as she descends on these ladies, she tells Magik that she can feel the nanites inside of her, and she thinks that she can remove them, but it's gonna hurt like hell. But Magik does not care. She wants these things out right now. So Polaris obliges, and as she begins counting to 3, she uses her powers and successfully pulls out these nanites from Magik's body. But then Polaris senses a machine coming their way, but right now she can't do anything about it because she's trying to finish crushing the nanites, so she can't deal with it. As we then see a Stark Sentinel approach, but as Polaris finishes with the nanites, she's able to put up a shield to protect them from the Sentinel, but acknowledges that Orchis has built countermeasures into these Sentinels, so she can't just crush it. But Shadow Cat, she tells Polaris to keep the Sentinel focused on her while Shadow Cat phases down through the ground to sneak attack this Sentinel. Meanwhile, Magik is now recovered and she can teleport again, so she and Polaris go through a portal that drops them right on top of the head of the Sentinel. Then Polaris pulls in a couple of nearby power lines and sticks them right into the head of the Sentinel, while Magik teleports to a nearby water hydrant with Shadow Cat, who takes the top off while Magik opens a portal, sending the water splashing down into the head of the Sentinel and the power lines, blowing this Sentinel up. And now all of the mutant prisoners of this facility are freed and they come running out. Then we see Emma, who had been watching from her limo nearby, and she tells Shadow Cat and Magik to get in so they can continue taking out these fascists. Then she also has a special gift for Kitty, as Lockheed jumps out of the window and into the arms of Kate and Ileana. But then Polaris asks Emma for Nimrod, because Polaris has been on a roll with her displays of power lately, and Emma lets her know that he's actually next on the list. Then a familiar voice rings in their minds as Cyclops has now joined the chat and says that he might have a line on what Nimrod is up to. And he notifies the team that he secured an Orchis asset in the form of Dr. Alia Gregor. And their problems may be just beginning, as he then asks for the services of Magik if she's up to it. And she tells him that of course she is. She is a war captain of Krakoa after all. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this issue. So, what'd you guys think? I thought this issue was pretty dope, and I love seeing Magik and Shadow Cat back together, especially seeing them cut through all those Orchis soldiers in the facility. It's pretty dope seeing the mutants finally fighting back against Orchis and really making it look easy, since Orchis can no longer use those lace medicines as a deterrent. And Emma, she might have a drinking problem. Because she's been sipping since this whole issue started. I wonder what she's drinking. What's you guys' best guess? But how you guys feeling about this Fall of the House of X event so far? I'm loving how action-packed most of these issues have been. And I'm probably going to be pretty mad when it's all over because the bar has been raised in my opinion. But again, keep those comments coming in as I want to know where you guys' heads are at with this. But if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel and you like to support the channel, then you can go ahead and do so by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And there'll be a link to join in the description of this video. But with your membership, you guys will gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly right in front of the camera, where we could talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you like for me to go over in the future, and other comic book news too. Plus you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and more in these videos. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of those, then that's fine. You can still be a huge help to the channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.